Hello and welcome to Keep Hope Alive podcast. Boy, do we have another great show for you. We have Michelle Dewitt with us. Thank you. I'm so happy.
Hi.
Yes, we're just living it up. She is wonderful, guys. I mean, she does everything. She's a minister, author, and executive director, and she's going to go through her journey with you guys. So we are in season 10 right now, and it's people like you watching the show, making it a reality. We love you guys. So we're keeping the hope and raising the momentum, more guest speakers to come on their way. Of course, we're in January, but I'm an event planner, so I'm focusing right now on Valentine's Day, even St. Patrick's Day coming up. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have fun guests, maybe a game or two. Who knows? So, those are the new things coming up, but we'll see. Anyways, before Michelle, that I get started with you, just really quick. Out of the last like 20 years, how many weddings have you been to?
Hmm. I believe that it's been about four.
Four. Okay. So, when you go into the ceremony, like let's say it's a church we're walking in, but usually to the side, there's something to sign. What is that thing called?
You're talking about the cabinets, the candles.
Oh, I love that. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
Sometimes there is like
I'm
the
trying to
unity
remember.
candle. So usually, like when the guests come in, they're signing their names and letting them know in the guest
Oh,
book.
yeah, the guest book.
The-
Yeah. Hmm.
but the unity candles are ceremony. I had one guy, he said, "Oh, they're signing their life away." So I get different answers all the time. So
Yeah, yeah,
I loved it.
yeah.
That's a good answer though. So with lifeonrecord.com, they're one of our sponsors here. They're amazing. Instead of having that guest book, they bring a vintage rotary phone. So when the guests come in, they can pick it up and leave a message for the happy couple getting married. And right next to it, because there could be a line, they have a QR code that your guests can scan with their own phone and leave a message too, either before or after the wedding. Now, once all these messages get collected, they'll burn it on a 12-inch vinyl record, or they have a keepsake box, and I call it the little boom box because
Yeah.
it's cute. And you get the gift of your friends and family's voices. And that's just magical, I think, to me. And it's the best
I
gift
love
I think you
it.
can have because you can hear those voices every year if you wanted to. Now, since
Yeah.
they do weddings, I mean, you can use this for other events too. But, I would always tell people like right before the 1 year anniversary, call back and leave more messages. I always wish you
Right.
were here. Then they get collected too. So you have two.
I'm gonna be
But
50 this year. I need that
you need it.
information.
Yes. So guess what? Plans start at $99. You get the phone number for 1 year.
What?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's cheap. I
I
love
gotta
it.
get
I was
that.
like, I'm sorry, Life on Record. That is a good deal. So
Yeah.
you get that number and you can leave it, as many messages as you want. So, but to find more information, you'll go to
Hmm.
www.lifeonrecord.com.
Liveonrecord.com. I got to
Life,
go there.
yeah,
Okay.
on record.com.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Awesome.
I was like, everybody, usually I show people I'm drinking a Coke. Look, it's all magical here. I have no
I see it.
half a cup of water. So yeah, I've been drinking more water. I hear from all doctors and nurses all the time, and I usually have Coca-Cola by me. But for the past 3 days, it's been water, water, water.
Water,
And so
water.
I'm so
Yeah,
proud of
I know
myself.
it.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad. Yes, I have my water. So I'm
Yeah,
doing
yours
good.
doesn't
I haven't
disappear.
had I had ginger ale, a little bit of ginger ale yesterday, and that was because, little belly, but
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I think having little sugar caffeine during the day shouldn't hurt somebody. I
Right,
mean, in the
yeah.
morning, I'm a coffee drinker, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I ran out of creamer. I gotta go get creamer today. It's like those little things, and it's like
Mhm.
what gets you through the day.
Right.
I'm trying to change my ways. I don't want much sugar anymore. So I'm trying to
That's
do a
good.
healthy approach right now. And I don't want to say I'm doing it because then I'll jinx myself and then I won't do it. So,
That's
but
me. I say the same thing. I don't do those New Year
res-
resolutions. I don't
yeah.
do those at all because I don't want to go back. I'm just take it day by day. I don't do those.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Take it day by day because if you keep planning into the future, and what if you didn't hit the goal from one of your future
Mhm.
things? So, like, I keep telling myself I want more travel in my life. So, I bought a piggy bank. Basically, it's like your adventure fund. And I have like 2 nickels in there. Like, I'm going so far on 2 nickels. But I really am a photographer also, and I've always wanted to
Oh,
go visit Utah. So, just on the Grand
okay.
Canyons, but I want to stay up on that canyon for sunrise, sunset, the stars at
Yeah.
night, and just have that whole experience and get some beautiful
Oh,
pictures. So,
mhm.
yeah, that is definitely a goal of mine.
Awesome.
So, but there's parts of me that thinks, I should have learned how to do the drone, but knowing me, I couldn't even do the little race cars with my brother. I was always hitting
Right,
something. I go
right.
with a drone,
Run into
it's
a
gone.
tree, a building. You'll be so mad at yourself, all that money. Oh no.
I know, gone because you know, I don't it's the math part because you need a drone license to fly it. And I'm like, no, no,
I
no,
didn't
no.
even
I don't
know
want to do
that.
that.
Oh wow. Now I'm definitely not gonna
Well,
get one.
here
I
in
didn't know
Texas,
that.
yeah. So I just want to learn more about that too, because I mean, are the police coming after you if you don't have a license? I'm not flying
How
anything.
does
See
that
it
work?
crash. Don't know what that was. Maybe a bird. So it's like kiss your $1,000 goodbye out the
Yeah,
door.
right. Uh,
So yeah, definitely. Well, I guess my first question, who is Michelle?
Michelle is a mother. I wear many hats. I'm a mother, a wife. It'll be 15 years in July. I have 6 children. We are the Brady Bunch family, 3 boys, 3 girls, well
Oh,
blended family. I'm the only girl my mother had. And
wow.
yes, I'm in the middle. And let's see, she had 5 children, so it's 2 boys, 2 girls, and I'm in the middle. I mean, 2 boys, you know what I mean. So, and I'm in the middle of them. So she had 5 children. Um, let's see what else. I'm silly. I can be serious, but most of the time I'm silly. Most of the time, I just cut up really bad. I love the youth, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later. I was a youth pastor for over a decade, and I we'll get into it, but yeah, yeah, that's me.
That's so cool. And I do want to talk to you more about the youth pastor and the decision you had to make on that because my 11-year-old son, he came to me and I was just surprised. He has his future lined up. And I mean, he was diagnosed for a year. They didn't know if he had sensory issues or autistic or, kind of like Sheldon Cooper. What is that called? Whatever. But
Yeah.
after that year, they're like, they had me in a boardroom and they go, your son is a genius. And I'm like, uh-oh. I was like, what does that mean?
Wow.
Like, so it's a journey. He memorizes a lot of stuff, like all where you can name any country, any city in the whole United States. He's like, boom, he has it memorized. Even
Wow.
flags. And I was like, okay. But he started liking football and he started watching old, I guess it was the Cowboys plays back in the past and memorizing it. So I put him in football and he loves football like
Okay.
completely. So he's played quarterback, wide receiver, safety. Yeah, so he's been captain already
Oh
at
Lord.
such a young age. And I'm like, wow, okay. But I think what was amazing, he one day in the car, he memorized some scripture and read it out. And he's like, Mom, this is me. And I was like, well, okay. He's like, can we go back to church? And now when I say go back, I took a year off, things changed in my life, I
Yeah.
just didn't know. But he's like, I want to serve because mom, he goes, I want to be a football player. And then after I retire, I'm going to be a youth children's minister.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay.
okay, you got it all planned. It's my job to sit back and help you and
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
and see what I could do.
Yeah. 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 Oh,
I
I
was like,
love it.
so when you said youth minister, I was like, what age did you know? Did you know at a young age for you?
Um, I didn't.
No.
No,
Okay.
I did not. No, it just fell upon me. I worked in the school system for 20 plus years. I started at the age of I went into the school system when I was 19, 20, I think. And
Okay.
so yeah, I went in there and I was a bus driver for 10 years. And I love talking to the children, and
Aw.
um it just it was just like God spoke and said, hey, I'm calling you in the ministry. And I was like, who is he talking to? Like, really? Like, I'm not the one. God, you got the wrong person. I'm sorry about that, that's my phone cutting up. But I'm like, this is not me. You got the wrong Michelle. And so I went to my at that time I went to my pastor at that time, and I shared with him. And the process at that time was to, he already knew. He said, I was just waiting. God already showed me. Um, and he said, just let God keep speaking to you. And he wasn't quick to do any licensing. He went
Yeah.
on, he waited 2 years. I thought he forgot, actually, but he
Uh-huh.
was wanting me to grow so that I would be able to understand the youth when they came to me. And I did go through a whole lot of process. I had breast cancer during that time.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, I had breast cancer. I was 25 years old. And here it is, I'm a young woman. I had to go through those different situations so that I could adapt to the youth and talk to them the
Yeah.
way that I do. I keep myself youthful by being around the youth. I know everybody that looks at me is like, how old are you? And I'm just like, I'll be 50 soon. And they're like, no. And then when
Um,
I tell them I have 4 children of my own, and my oldest is 32. And of course, like I said, we are a blended family, and I have twins. My oldest is 33. The twins are 32, and the baby is 20. She'll be
oh,
21
wow.
next month. So,
Woo,
yeah,
celebrate.
yeah. So, and people are like, you are just so beautiful. But I'm gonna tell you, they think, and as a child, I did not think that I was pretty at all. I went through decades, like from the knowledge I had all the way up to, I would say, wow, my 30s, maybe.
Gotcha.
I did not adapt to life well because of what happened to me. Yeah.
And what was that
Oh,
happened?
okay. Oh, yeah, sure. I can tell you.
Yeah.
So at the age of 3, 4, I was molested by 2 family members, and it continued with two family members on my dad's side, and the molestation continued with 2 family members on my mother's side. And at the age of 14, I was raped by a family member on my daddy's side. So I grew up in a domestic house, verbally and physically. A lot of people is like single dads, single moms, of course, the struggle. I grew up with both. My daddy was a workaholic. My mom
Mhm.
stayed home, and he was abusive to all of us. And I was very scared of my dad. My mom and I were close. She was like my best friend. She's deceased now. Her birthday was just Wednesday. My mom would have been 64. She passed away at
Oh, she was young.
54. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she would have been 68. So,
Okay.
yeah, she was, yeah, at that time. But she was like my best friend I could talk to, but I did not tell my mom about any of the molestations at all. I didn't even tell her about the rape because I saw the abuse that my mom went through with my dad, and I didn't want to put any more weight on her, which, as you can
Yeah.
imagine, as a young child, how do you take on adult situations such as being violated in that manner? That's something that's taken from your innocence. And not only that, taking on the weight of now being an adult, trying to protect an adult as a child at 16 years old, as a teenager. So, how does that all work together? I was definitely um, traumatized. But
Of
at that
course.
time, in the house is what's in the house, and people would say what's in the house stays in the house. You don't go out and tell your business. And so I didn't say anything. I didn't even tell my brothers that happened. I did tell my half sister that I was raped, and it was only because my daddy was so strict. He wouldn't let us leave the yard. We couldn't leave the yard. We would get off the bus, and he worked for the state at that time, and we stayed in we stayed in a poverty neighborhood, and my
Mhm.
dad worked with the state, and everybody at that time, being a little girl, I thought that we were a rich family, because my dad got new cars every year, and he was the one that made the pavement on the dirt road where we lived at. He came with the state and they put pavement down, and he built a fence, and everybody else look at us,
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
outside it looked good, but on the inside it was
It's
horrible. Yeah. So I told my half sister, and it was like by the time I got home, my mom was so hurt for me not telling her. When I went over there, I've never spent the night at anyone's house. Now, mind you, I'm 16 at this time, and never spent the night. I never knew what it was like, and I felt free in this house. It was so nice and so beautiful, so clean, because I was the maid at my house. I was the one that cleaned up behind my brothers. I'm always cleaning and um, taking care of things. It was just a lot. And so to go over there and to have her cook, and I take a nice shower in a nice bathroom, it was just so peaceful. But when I got in the shower, I had a breakdown. And I screamed, and she ran upstairs and she asked me what was going on. So I told her the story about what happened and how my grandmother saw him when he raped me, and she closed the door and didn't say anything. And my half sister, well, she's my sister. I never say half because even with my children, even though my husband and I, this is like I'm jumping down a rabbit hole, but even though my
yeah.
husband and I, he has his two, I have my four, I never say half because God never created half of anything. Everything God created was a bonus. It was a plus in addition to me being here on this earth. And so
Yeah.
I always tell people my children are bonus babies. And I always wanted extra children. I want to be like my mama wanted five children, and God gave me plus one. So I got six. But anyway, and then boys and girls. But anyway,
Yeah.
so telling my sister what happened. By the time I got home, my mom, she threw me against the wall, and she was crying. Why didn't you tell me? She slapped me. Why didn't you tell me? It wasn't because she was mad. It was because she was hurt. I'm your only daughter. Not only did I not tell you, someone else told you, so that's devastating. And the
Yeah.
period of time that I waited before I told anyone was 6 months. I didn't have a menstrual cycle. I thought I was pregnant. I just
Mhm.
I didn't, and my stomach started growing, and I was like, how do I? My dad's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. I really thought my dad was gonna kill me, literally. And
What
so
age was this?
I
Like,
was 16.
I was
This is at
16. Okay.
16. Yeah, this was at 16. So my mom, she took me to the doctor, and long story short, because you'll find it in my book, but long story short, I had to have surgery. I was not pregnant. I was 6 months holding a tumor that was the size of a basketball, and attached to the tumor in my left over was the size of I want to say it was the size of a baseball. At 16 years old, I had to have, I mean, not 16. I'm sorry, not 16. I keep saying
Okay.
16. I was 14. I was 14 years old when this all
Okay.
happened.
Okay.
16 is when I got pregnant, but 14
Oh,
is when this all happened. So imagine a 14-year-old, I'm barely a teenager, and I had to have my leftover removed, and I had a tumor it was a cyst. It was so big, it was like I was 6 months pregnant. They had to do a C-section on me as if I was pregnant at 14 and
wow.
have my leftover removed. It was a miracle that I had twins. I had
Wow. Yeah,
twins.
that is.
Mhm. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, I go into detail about that in my book. When I talk about it, my book is I've been there, and I tell the story. I am a renowned
Mhm.
author. And I tell my story. I've been there. I'm not ashamed of what I went through. This
Yeah.
is truly miracles that has happened in my life. For me not to have counseling and to be totally healed by God, that's a miracle in itself because I went through a lot of turmoil and horrific experiences as a child. And I look back at that today and I see why God called me to the youth ministry because of the
Yeah.
things that I went through. I have compassion when it comes down to the youth. A lot of adults are like, oh, they're bad. There is not a bad thing that God made on this earth. They may be a little complicated at times, a little
Yep.
different at times, but we have to evaluate the whole picture and not just look at this moment, but let's look at the whole picture of what's going on with this child. Um, uh, eh,
Yep.
that they're having a bad moment at school. There are no bad days. It's 24 hours in a day. So you can't have 24 hours of the day being bad. Even when I had breast cancer, I went through a lot, but the sunshine of that was 25 years old. I was a 19th person in the United States with the rare form of breast cancer that I had. And they had me at 25 years old and talking to other women that had breast cancer. And they wanted me to go in to receive the counseling for it because because the way I responded when they shared that with me, I said, okay, at this time I'm saved. I love the Lord. And I said, God's got
Mhm.
this, you know? And so they had me to go in because they thought that I didn't grasp the fact. And at 25 years old, they said I was too young at that time. And so I ended up encouraging the women there, and they wanted me to come back to come and
Oh,
speak to them instead of them speaking to me. They wanted me to come and speak to them. So yes, in my book, I shared that. I share the rape experience. I share going through a divorce. I share going, being promiscuous. I've been on the road. I've been there, and with this, it has really opened doors, Nadine. It's opened doors.
yes,
Um,
it has. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, everything you've been through and writing it out, that's being heard. That's what like Keep Hope Alive is about. Me and my friend, we used to talk about this nonstop for 5 years about healthcare. It was always healthcare. I want to be heard. They're not listening to me. I
right.
feel gaslighted. And then relationships. He didn't listen to me, kind of talk, it's just what friends do, over
Yes,
time.
we conversate, chop it up.
Yeah, and she passed last year,
Oh
and
wow.
it's just been it. I'm keeping. our talks alive through Keep Hope
That's right.
Alive.
Your
Yeah.
best, she was your best friend?
Yeah, yeah.
How
So
long?
for 5 years, we met
Okay,
through the
5 years.
Chronic
Okay.
Pain Association. And then she worked, well, she did drawings for the Chronic Pain Warriors. They do cards.
Okay.
It's like letters for chronic pain, but she would illustrate them and send them out. And she would send me
Mm,
pictures. What do you think of this one? I was like, I love it. You were so creative.
yeah.
But those would go out right before I said, no, 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 no. I don't want to give you my address. She lived in Indianapolis. I knew
Okay.
she was going to sign me up for something, but I don't know what made me give my address a couple weeks before her passing. But
Mm,
now I get letters and I just smile and I'm like, good. I reached out to the person who's in charge of that too. And I was like, it's a great concept. I love it. I go, but
yeah.
I'm so bad at writing letters back.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
she's like, but
yeah.
you don't have to. It's just somebody sending you love and light. And I took the
Yeah.
last one and put it on TikTok. I go, I'm opening this, and I'll
Ah,
probably do it with each one I got. But I call TikTok my platform for being real. This is like I'm real on these podcasts, but it's like a whole new insight. Maybe I have my dog look at my face or something, and I'm
okay,
like
okay.
pretending I'm Chucky from Halloween,
Yeah,
and
right.
in movies. But I think it's important. Things are changing in this world. From media kits, that may be our new resume these
Yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So many things. But getting your book out and getting your story out, that's amazing. And it has to draw up all these feelings, but go harder at it because there could be somebody watching that maybe they have gone through the same thing and they have it bottled up and they don't know how to tell somebody. Now, like what you mentioned, your mom got mad, but it was like out of fear. Yes. I kind of go both ways. I see how that happens. If you don't get closure, it is a scary thing. And were you able to get any like counseling after you were able to? No.
No,
Wow.
ma'am. No, ma'am. That was in the house, stays in the house. My dad, when he found, I begged my mom not to tell my dad. I don't want to give the
Oh,
whole
she
thing
probably
away,
wanted to
but
wring his neck.
uh yeah, my mom picked up the phone to call the police, not to give the whole story away, but it got worse. A
Oh,
14-year-old girl, it got worse. It was horrible. Now I was traumatized all over again. But I'm gonna tell you, when my dad found out, my mom picked up the phone to call the police. My dad went and got his shotgun. He told my mom that if she thought she was gonna call the police, she would kill everybody in the house. My grandmother told me I was no longer her grandchild. She told me that I was a liar. My daddy called me a whore and a slut, and if it did happen, he said he didn't believe me, but if it did, he said I asked for it. So not only did I go through this horrific experience, not only did I keep it for 6 months, and now my dad knows, and he got a shotgun telling everybody in the house he's gonna kill them, my brothers, my mom, my grandmother, everybody. He was going to do this. So I should be in counseling, insane institute, dead
no.
probably. None of that happened because of the grace of the Father. It's because God knew that He had a plan for me. I didn't know what the plan was. Yes, I heard inside, and I did have very, very low self esteem for many, many years. People didn't even know. Even being a youth pastor, I pushed the youth, but I didn't push myself like I pushed the youth. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're
Yeah.
beautiful, you're great. I have all activities for them. I come in there, I'm
Yay.
bold with them. But when I got home, I will always think, wow, I didn't like my skin. I didn't like the gap in my mouth. I didn't like anything about Michelle. I didn't like it, but I always, always told everybody how God loves them. I knew God loved me, but I just was like, But I'm ugly though. I always thought that I was very shy. I'm still a little bit, you wouldn't recognize it. I don't like cameras. I don't people look at me like,
Uh-oh.
"What?"
I'm a photographer. Wait a minute.
I love
So
taking pictures.
everybody has a
Oh, I'll
beautiful
take some
soul.
pictures. I love pictures. I just don't I see that the big picture that God is moving me into
Hmm.
another arena, and I'm like, "Whoa, really, God? Wow," you know? But it all
Yeah.
comes from the healing from the Father. It comes from Him, and just like your show is, it starts with you recognizing that it's okay to forgive. And that's what I come from when I talk about it in my book and when I talk to people on my show, Unbreakable Faith. That's why it's called Unbreakable Faith, because I have the faith from a child to now. I never hated my uncles. Never. People say, how could you not hate them for what they did? They violated you. I mean, I did a talk show in Scotland, and I'm telling you, he was so mad. He was mad. He was so mad. He said, I would just come to the United States and kill them now. I was like, oh God, don't do that. But yeah, he was really upset. I said, God, really, my mom, I watched my mom late at night. My mom didn't go to church. She would always send us with my grandmother, which was my mom's mother. She would always send us with her. But at night, I could see my mom. She didn't want to go to bed because of the abuse. And I would hear my dad, my room was right there, and I would hear him slapping her and her screaming. But at night, some nights my mom would stay up and I'll peek out the room and she's eating ice, got the Bible, smoking a cigarette, highlighting the Bible. And I know my mom didn't talk about it much, but I know she was praying a lot.
Yeah.
And that prayer, it was vibrant and it generated in me. And one thing my grandmother and my mom instilled within my brothers and I, you don't hate anyone. You don't hate
Yeah.
anyone. You forgive them, and it's not for them, it's for you so you can start the healing process. Go ahead and start the healing process. I tell the youth, they go through tragic experiences in their life where, so I went through teen domestic violence at 16, and I stayed in that relationship for a very long time, and I was just all over the place. I was everywhere. There isn't a part of my life where I can't connect with someone from a young age all the way up to current. And that's what my book talks about. And I'm so
Yeah.
blunt and so real. I'm one of the ladies that just keeps it real with you. I don't mind, like I said, at one time I didn't want to tell my story. The way that I wrote my book is a friend told me, she said, you always testify when you go out about what happens to you. She said, you need to put it in a book. It needs to travel. It needs to go
Yes.
further. And I was like, girl, I don't even journal. What are you talking about? I'm not doing
Oh,
no book. And so she said, Michelle, I'm telling you, she said, just start anywhere. Put your story down anywhere. Start in any part of your life. And once I started writing, Nadine, I just kept writing. And it's not I can't say no one's perfect, but I just
yeah.
put it out there. When people purchase my book, they say, Michelle, wow, you start off with a kicker. You just can't put the book down. I don't. I tell people when you purchase the book, don't go to bed. Please make sure it's not at bedtime, and don't sit by the pool. You're not gonna want to do that. Make sure you have space to read the book because there are some very gentrifying information in there. And I start off with a kicker. You're not gonna put the book down. And I've heard that over and over again. You're just not gonna put the book down. There's not that many pages in the book, but you're just not gonna put it down because I'm so blunt and so real in the book. And so with Unbreakable Faith, the organization, I'm just gonna go into talking about it. I'm so sorry, I'm taking over your show.
No, 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 no. I love
Okay.
this. I
Well,
love
I
it.
get excited when I talk about this, Nadine, because I want people to understand it's okay. It's okay. Share with someone. I prefer in counseling. A strong believer in counseling. But if you have that connection with someone close, and you know they're not gonna blurt your business out, but they're gonna help guide you in the right direction as far as listening and not always giving an answer. Sometimes people just need to listen and not always come up with a solution, because it's not always God's will for you to talk. Sometimes He just wants you to listen. And
Yeah.
so with my Unbreakable Faith, that's what I talk about. I talk to the youth and the young adults. I talk to parents. I talk to the youth about loving themselves. Love
Mhm.
you first. Don't get into a relationship looking for someone to love on you. What you're desiring is coming from Him. And you have to recognize who it is that you need to go to first, because if you don't love yourself, and that's what I learned over the years with these
Yeah.
relationships, if I don't love me, no one's going to love me like me except for the Father. Nobody. And
Yeah.
so once I learned that, and now I share that with the youth, I have different strategies. God gave me the ATM program to present to the youth. It's ATM, and it stands for, we think of an ATM as a machine. And that's how I say, how many of y'all like money? And they're like, all of us, we love money. They raising their hands everywhere. And I said, awesome. So ATMs talks about money. I said, but I want to talk about it in a different way. Do you know you're an ATM machine? And they're like, what? So I told them, you are amazing. God has created an amazing you. He has transformed you, and you are a motivated youth. Amazing, transformed, and motivated. And that's where
That's
we're
cool.
going with this program right now. And they're like, ah, I said, you have the right as an ATM machine to make the deposit into your life of who you want in it, or you can
Yeah.
do the withdrawal to remove them. And it's a program we go through. It's 6 weeks. I actually went to Department of Juvenile Justice here before they closed down, and I talked to those children that were incarcerated. Our youth, they need to be educated, not incarcerated.
Mhm.
They need
Yeah.
counseling. They've been through some experiences that they do not want to talk about. They're embarrassed. They've been bullied. They have been shamed. On social media, it's so horrible. And so I explained this to them when I went in and I started talking with them. I'm not a counselor, but I am when it comes down to the will of the Father. Yes, I've been to college. I have my degree in theology. I have a I also dealt with. I also have youth ministry. And so all of this is in regards to the children. You can tell by the way I'm talking. I love my babies. And
Yes.
I'll go to the fire. I am your advocate. I have the voice that you need right now, because no one had that voice for me. So I have it. And so, I'm that strong advocate for them. And so with the organization, not only do I do that, I talk to the young adults about having those stalkers, because our young adults are in college. They need to know how to deal with stalking. I am a member of RAIN. I'm a part of RAIN. And it's great to receive the information from them. I'm getting ready to actually get some men on my talk show in regards to what's sexual abuse, because a lot of men don't come out with that. When I was talking to the DJJ, one of the children came and whispered in my ear that was a male student, teenager, and he said, I no, he didn't whisper in my ear. It was a young lady that did that. After the session, she whispered in my ear, "Thank you." I knew you have to be observant too. I knew that she was kind of sheltered and cuddled. I knew, but I kept going. And God made it a way where she came and told me about a lot of stuff in her life. I volunteered at a facility to help girls that were sex trafficking, that was sex trafficked. And I I was a mentor for those young ladies. And I tell you, the stories that I've heard in regards to these young ladies and them being in broken down hotels, mattresses on the floor with roaches and rats. And here it is, this high price judge and lawyer, football players are coming in during the football season, and they've paid so many thousands of dollars to have sex and leave you like trash. I've heard those stories, and I'm talking about big money. I'm talking about big people, and it's horrible for a female to regroup. We're emotional, and to regroup is just a lot. But I dealt with that. And so when I went to DJJ and I started talking to them about everything that I've learned, it's everything, I give God the glory for the learning that I have gotten. And so this young gentleman, young boy, he was about, I don't know, he was in his teens. He bust out. I'm telling y'all, she for real. She for real. And he was just, I'm telling you guys, it happened to me. My uncle, he hugged me and he put his hands in my pocket. I was like, he said, hold on, baby. Stop, stop.
Mhm.
It was a group of, it triggered him. And like I said, this was just the beginning. So I was still learning about triggers and stuff like that. And that
Yeah.
triggered him. And so I told him to stop. I've never had too many boys in there. I've always had maybe six, maybe 5 or 6 boys. So it was a small group. But I told them in there, I said, listen, what you just heard him say, I know where you guys are. Don't ever throw that in his face. It took a lot for him to say this, and I'm going to report it because it's my job to report this so he can receive counseling. And some of you guys that's in here with anger issues, you've had other incidents in your life that happened, whether your parents were abusive. I let them know. Yeah, they all turned around and said, we got your back. We got your back. They was like, man, that's messed up. They were so real in there.
Yeah.
One of the officers came in, and I did like this just to, give me a minute. And he stood at the back, and he stood back there, and he just heard them say, he didn't know what happened. He just heard them say, we got your back. Don't worry, we got your back. And he just, he was just like this, looking like, hurry up. But then
Yeah.
once he saw that, he just kind of relaxed, like, what did she talk about? You know? Yeah. Yeah. So you
Wow.
got things like that that happen. You have people, you have people that, need your help. They need that help.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So
Yeah.
for me, like helping somebody get out of abusive relationship and find safety,
Right.
that was rewarding. Like that
Yes.
made me help that my heart and soul went into that. And I just remember the whole process. I
Uh-huh.
had to lead them to a different counselor and find the steps that they needed to take.
Mm.
But I would hear from them. Thank you so much. And
Uh-huh.
if there was more things out there in this world, maybe it's like somebody could be watching this and say, I want to talk to her right away. There is a phone number you can call, and either one of us, okay? So that is going to be 833-780 HOPE, which is 4673, I believe. So
Okay.
833-78 HOPE. So that number is up to, you can leave a 30-minute message, which is really
Awesome.
nice.
Okay,
So if
great.
you're looking for ways to communicate and just
Yeah.
get it out, we're here to help you. And I know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it's in every state, if things ever did get bad to where you think of even self-harm, I would hate to think that, but I believe it's 988. I have it on my website too. I put their
Mm-hmm.
banner so
Mm-hmm.
they know where to call. So you can reach out to us. But you, dating, you said also you've been through dating violence, and then you also mentioned a divorce. I'm interested
Yeah.
to know what that was like because all this stuff happened to you. And just to think of, growing up and taking
Mhm.
that step and,
Mhm.
falling in love with stuff, or
Yeah.
people, you probably did open up and
Yeah.
talk to that person about what happened, or did
Yeah.
you bottle it up?
Yep. And they took what I said and they used it against me.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, not in the marriage, but in the dating field, I
Yep.
shared because my heart was open. I was glad for the attention. And um, so I trust you. And a lot of our youth are doing that today. The difference with that happening with me is it wasn't social media. Our youth are on social media and they're telling everything to everyone. And so they're getting these hate, bully emails and saying you shouldn't have did this or whatever. So when I talked about that to them while I was dating as a teenager, it was used against me. I got married when I was 19. And the only reason why I married was because I had children and I wanted someone to help me take care of my children. I wasn't in love with him. I stayed with him for 15 years. And that's my baby, my other baby. She's 21 now. And we had one child together. But it was because of the low self-esteem at that time. So,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I've heard other stories, people who've been in that their relationship is solid or it's rocky, or, it's what we attract with our energy, bringing people
yep.
in the
Yeah.
dating field. Like if somebody has a glow, like, oh, you're glowing. It's not like we're going to sit back and know what we attracted before. How do we know? Can we be blindsided again? It's
Right.
like I'm waiting for the shoe to just drop. And it makes you question everything, For me, yeah, I've been trying to date in the last year and it is hard. I mean, I don't want to learn new words like ghosting.
No.
Like, I think of Pac-Man, the little ghost. What is ghosting? And I was like, whoa. And then the grass is greener on the other side with all these dating apps, and they're
Yeah.
looking at
Mm,
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm gonna talk to this girl and go find, yeah. So it's challenging,
yeah. Absolutely. I
yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I can't say I know what you're going through. I don't. My husband and we always said, listen, I don't know how they do it today.
Yep. It's bad. I'm sorry. It needs to be redone, and I'm gonna be the one to create that. Mark my
That's
words.
good. Yes, that will work
Because,
out.
I'm a certified wedding planner and I see the
Uh-huh.
wedding industry going, they want to do quick uh courthouse marriages, or there's this one company I think is genius, but they have like the photo booth van, but they marry you and you get your pictures done right away. That's cute. I like that, but I
Yeah, I
don't.
like the little photo thingy.
Yeah, people are going, like, our millennials are going backwards. I mean, it's like, get the house and baby, then marriage. I don't understand it.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, my husband and I, we always joke about like, we're going out on a date. And I like acting silly with my husband. We're some silly people. You would never think that he's so quiet, he's so quiet. But when he's at home, he's so silly. He always say, like if he fixed me something, he'll say, or if he's giving me something, give me your paws. Uh, You say paw, or he'll tell my nephew, we have my nephew, he's 8 years old. We have him, he's down here with us for the year. He'll say, go wash your paws. I say, honey, stop saying paws. He is just so silly. Like, I love my husband. He's a sweetheart. Like I said, it'll be 15 years in July.
Wow.
He is a
Congrats.
sweetheart. Thank you. I believe that you will get you're gonna find that special someone.
I think I might have, but it's been 1 week. So
Okay.
we'll see. I'm
Okay.
glowing. I know I glow around him and I know people can see that
Yes.
glow, but yeah, I'm happy. and I like that he hasn't watched any of my podcasts.
Ah,
It makes it easier. Like I one date I had, it was like they said, during the lunch date, well, how can I get back with my ex-wife? They were I was like, he watched the show. And like my brain is like, oh, okay, okay. And
okay,
I
so
gave
now
him
I'm
the
your
advice.
friend. Okay, I'm friend material. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going out to meet people just because I'm a relationship life coach person.
Right, right.
My heart wants to be settled. I want that old time love and being married for a long time. It needs to be found again. And people have dated and they've been divorced and it's a crutch. People have baggage, but how do you look over that and see the person they are today and fall in love with that person and stay with that person? And you hear it from men and you hear it from women that they just hate the ghosting, they hate the cheating, the lies, all of that. Just I wish we could rewind the time
Yeah, I
and kind
agree.
of hold those traditions. So,
Yeah, I think
you
so.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but finding love, if you're in love with your husband or wife, stay put. Be happy the rest of your life.
Right.
Every date should be just like your first date.
Yes,
And I
yes.
told the guy I'm dating, every date is going to be like our first date. We're going to have fun. And I'm going to talk to him about doing like a TikTok segment of the two of us tonight,
Okay.
because when you watch those reels, they're having fun. And having fun creates memories, and the
Yes,
memories last long.
yes.
So let love last long. So that's
Hey,
my message for today.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I'm very happy about that. And, you've done so good. I'm glad you got the book out and everything. And you said show, but it's not a podcast. Is it like a TV show or?
I do sometimes I do Zoom and sometimes I do StreamYard. So I do
Okay,
have my StreamYard on YouTube now.
okay,
Unbreakable Faith is on YouTube. Like I said, I'm
okay.
stepping out. I love to do the one-on-ones, but I am stepping out. So it's on YouTube, the StreamYard, and I talk about I do interviews with other people and it's up there. And I share we get together, we chop it up. Unbreakable Faith. Yeah.
Yay. And I love that name, Unbreakable Faith. I love it. It's just so amazing to me. Like you pulled out of this hard thing and your passion for helping people and helping them understand what they've gone through is remarkable. You're an
Thank
outstanding
you.
woman,
Thank
a
you.
woman of faith, and God is just watching over you left and
Thank
right.
you.
You have
Thank
your
you.
angels around you. I know that for sure. So, but keep it going, especially, you know, with the kids ministry that holds very strong. If that was your calling, then I want to say stick with that and go with that. There's going to be so many more opportunities to help people that will come within the years. I know it will. So but yeah, keep it going. I want to bring you on next year too and do
Absolutely.
a catch-up interview, and see what's
Absolutely.
going on in your world. So, but yeah, definitely. So I'm going to be adding your book to our website, www.keephopelivepodcast.com, under the store, and you can find it there. I got to drink water. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting
No,
dry
no
mouth.
problem. Mm-mm.
And then wherever you guys find your podcast, you guys will be able to find Keep Hope Alive. We are on social media, and we're going to get to your social medias and also the
Absolutely.
Facebook X. I just call it X now. It's like I still miss the
Okay.
word
Yeah.
tweeter,
Right.
tweeter, tweeter. I love it. No, we should do a tweet app. tweet,
Right.
tweet.
Exactly.
No more Twitter, tweeter.
Oh
So
gosh.
yeah, wherever you can find it. I'm on Linktree, which is amazing. I love that app.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, Instagram, you got it. So now for people
Um,
wanting to find your information, where can they find all your info?
well, it's Unbreakable Faith. So it's not the word is it's the initials of it, unbrkfth.com. That's my website. That's what everything is at. They can go to the website and they can look at all the things that I've done. My interviews are up there. I actually have a love segment that's getting ready to come up. And I'm going to be talking to the youth, the young adults, 18 to 22, about true love. That's the title of it, and we're getting ready to do that. It's free. It's on Eventbrite. It's gonna be a 3 day because we got, like you said, Valentine's coming up, and everybody's getting a
Yes.
little mushy. But I want to grab your attention. Don't let the candy fool you, and the bear, and the roses. So we're gonna talk about it. Gonna chop it up
Yeah.
with the young adults. So, but anyway, my information is up there on my website. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I am on everything, Facebook, everything. Well, link,
Yep.
yeah, I'm on everything. I'm on
LinkedIn,
everything.
yeah. Yeah, I gotcha.
I'm like you. I'm still trying to keep up with the social media thingy. I'm working with it. I'm working.
Yeah. It's fun because I mean, every day, I mean, I come in, I'm blessed because we have other people wanting to be on the show, but it's like a full-time job here. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting everybody reading their
Yeah.
bios, so looking at their website. Okay, yeah, I want you,
Yeah.
definitely to come on to the
Yeah.
show because I think it's going to be so important that people hear what they have to offer and stuff. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, and then, the great thing about here, the sponsors that are here for Keep Hope Alive podcast are amazing. And they're very supportive, and I love them all. And, that's growing as well. So if you're interested in being a sponsor out there, email me, Nadine at keephopealivepodcast.com. There's no we, it's I would love to hear from you. So
Absolutely.
I don't
That's
know.
great.
I'm excited. And, the world is so big. Yes, across seas. I think somebody in the UK was asking today, I will wake up early to get your story. And, I think
Absolutely.
like, what is it, like 8 or 9 or
Oh
hours
wow.
ahead. I
Yeah,
don't know.
they are. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, as long as I have
He
my
was.
coffee,
Yeah.
yeah, coffee is key with me. Where I'm like, hi, let me interview you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool beans. Cool beans.
Yeah. So, really quick, I want to thank our sponsors that we have. And of course, we talked about lifeonrecord.com, your interactive guest book for all events. And you know what, really quick, I even used it. My son plays football. We used it for a football injury. The kid broke his
Okay.
leg and his growth plate got ruined. And we had the other football players call in, leave messages, and then they get the messages, which is
Awesome.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can use it even church events. I mean,
That's
that's great
good.
for the youth. Yeah. Birthday parties,
Absolutely.
everything. And then we next have Ogden Ventures LLC, Marquise Ogden. He is a retired NFL player and was on a couple big name teams and everything, but
Yeah.
he's turned it over
Absolutely.
the
Good.
keynote speaking. He's a best-selling author. He's a podcast host, but he's there to give any advice and help out. You can find him at marquiseogden.com. Next, we have
Awesome.
Bridal Shows Inc. .com. If you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area and you're planning a wedding or a special event, they host about 5 trade shows, I think, out of the year. I know at the end of January, it's Dallas's big bridal show and everything.
Yep.
You can go there, meet your vendors, and see what they have to offer, maybe get pricing or just set up that appointment to go by and see. But, everything everything in the wedding market, from caterers, DJs, bands, you name it. They're
Yes.
they're there. Next, we got Miles and Smiles Events .com. So Deborah Rose, she's an amazing lady. Her background is investigator, but she does handwriting analysis and lipstick reading. She brings it into the event industry, and she's amazing. She's accurate all the time. Sorry, more water that you can't see. I don't like that. It looks like half a glass.
Yeah.
So yeah, check her out. She's amazing. Our next one is Mr. Bryce Harney, who is now traveling United States area, doing these big events. It's Bryce, well, www.brycemagic.com. He is a magician and a mind mentalist. So you'll find him doing a lot of corporate events and church events, and he adds
Okay.
like gospel into his
Mm.
packages. I mean, but he's amazing. He's been on TV. I mean, you could just watch him. And when I was talking to him, I think we only talked on the phone and about him coming on board with my last job and everything, and he did. And anyways, long story. I told him about Keep Hope Alive, and he's like, yes. And I'm like, good, perfect. But his shows, I saw him at what was it, Party Fest this year, and he's never. I mean, on my emails I had my picture, but when I went to go visit, I go, "Hey, don't you know me?" He's like, "No." And then somebody let me hold a little baby crocodile at party. So I was holding crocodile or alligator thing, whatever. I don't know
Uh-huh.
by their nose yet. So, but yeah, I got to meet him, and he's so nice. He's wonderful. So. And then we have richmondpunch.net. He graduated from the Juilliard Arts. He's a violinist. He's been playing for so many years. He's
Awesome.
performed in front of millions of people for
Mm-hmm.
I think a televised funeral. And then also had a couple times on Lifetime shows to play in the background and everything. But he is a Dallas Fort Worth guy, but he does travel state to state. So
Mm-hmm.
look him up. And
Okay.
then we have our final one, TK Hair Salon, which they are located in Plano, Texas. So tkhairsalon.com. If you need your hair cut, guy or girl, children, coloring, they got all my grays out. So
Oh my goodness.
facial stuff, updos for special events, they do it all. But other than that, gosh, I that was a lot to say, Michelle. I was like, I'm happy for that list. So, but definitely, I'm so blessed to have everybody, and we have other new sponsors who actually joined, and maybe in a few sessions, maybe today, who knows? But they're coming. I'm thinking of you guys with in mind, for keeping the hope alive part alive and everything, and finding your faith and moving forward. But once again, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you for
sharing your
having me,
story.
Nadine.
Yes. And to everybody, I hope you have a great day, great week, great month, and great year. So, love and light, everybody.
Take
I'm so
care.
corny with that.
It's good.
Bye bye,
Enjoy.
guys.